What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now that I've had some time to think about it, I want to go over the Borderlands 4 endgame content in depth, kind of give you guys the overview of what we learned, what we found out, how I feel about it, and all of that stuff. So first things first, we're going to take a look at the endgame content. Then we're going to talk about the first few months in the roadmap of Borderlands 4. So with that all being said, let's dive right into the first piece of information we got was the Borderlands 4 Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. We had heard about this, and now we know more details about it, but you'll have the ability to beat the campaign, and once you beat the campaign, you'll be able to unlock the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, named like other previous games, but different, very different. So this time you beat the campaign, and then you unlock this mode. This mode has 5 difficulty levels that you can unlock from start to finish by completing challenges, and then once you do these challenges, you have a wildcard mission, which is your coup de grace, your final little face-off thing that you have to do, a boss you have to face in order to go on to the next Ultimate Vault Hunter level, which is very cool. I like the fact that the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode is very progression based instead of being like, oh, well, I feel like I could crank it up to 11. Let's just crank it up to 11. I, for one, thought that the Mayhem modes were interesting and were cool and had an awesome idea behind them, but never really understood how to get from Mayhem 1 all the way to Mayhem 11. And that's on me. That's on me for not understanding it. That's on me for not taking the time to learn it. I can say that now I've been playing back through Borderlands 3 and kind of messing around with it, and I do kind of understand it a lot more. But in the beginning, it was just like, what? Wait, what? You know, it was just a little confusing for me, but now it makes sense. But yeah, successfully surviving each of the wildcard missions at the end of each Ultimate Vault Hunter level gives you the ability to go on to the next, and it allows you to take him at your own pace, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of interested to see how it all pans out, but they did say after you beat the game and the credits roll, you will unlock this mode. There'll be a tutorial on how to get through each of the levels. It'll be very self-explanatory, which is very good because those people that want to get into the endgame mode will know right at the end of the story how to progress. If you guys don't want to get into that, and that's fine, you don't even have to, but they will show us how it all works. And with the addition of Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, you'll have these weekly challenges you'll be able to do throughout the game to unlock certain things. Like the weekly big encore boss will be a special, tougher boss with a bigger loot pool that you'll be able to fight over and over and get their dedicated drop. You'll have weekly wildcard missions that will guarantee a legendary drop that you'll be able to get throughout doing this mission. Then you'll have the Maurice's Black Market machine that you can track down each and every week and go ahead and get the loot from this. This is a return from Borderlands 3. The only difference is it's not the same loot for every instance. So my instance may be different from your instance, and your instance may be different from mine. I think this is to encourage co-op play, and I'm all here for it. I think that's really cool. I think that's really neat to be able to have different ones in Maurice's Black Market vending machine. The next thing that they talked about was the firmware. Now, the firmware is really interesting because this adds gear sets to Borderlands for the very first time. So these gear sets are going to be on specific pieces of gear that allow you to have set bonuses. And the more pieces of gear with the set bonuses that you have, the further you go down in the tree, and you'll be able to see what you can get by having this many gear sets. You can have up to 5, and you can collect to unlock a minor, major, or full set bonuses to enhance your build. You can also transfer these firmware between gear pieces using a new transfer machine that takes iridium. So iridium is going to be the currency of the end game, and that's fine with me. I mean, I feel like that's what it's there for. It's a premium currency. It's always been there to be that kind of thing, but you're going to be able to use that to transfer things in and out. It'll also be noted that firmware does not apply to the 4 primary weapons in your loadout, as it has a chance to spawn on rep kits, ordnance, class mods, shields, and enhancement. That means you have only 5 total pieces of firmware that can be enabled in the gear at a time, and to be able to transfer enhancements, which are like anointments, but when you take them off a certain piece of gear, that piece of gear is destroyed, which adds a whole new level to the farming mechanics of the game. So you're going to be farming for specific pieces of firmware, but as you do that, every piece of gear is now important, because you may find a piece of gear that's like, oh, I want that firmware, but you know, I want it on this piece of gear. That's how you'll do it. So it adds the ability to look at things as things drop from now on. You'll always be looking through the gear and always be min-maxing per se. They did mention dedicated farming. Each boss will be able to be farmed over and over using the Moxie's Big Encore machine to farm their dedicated drops. I know Borderlands 3 didn't launch with that, but now Borderlands 4 has the ability to do that with the Big Encore machine. You'll be able to farm for their dedicated drops and get that loot that you want to really take with you from build to build, and that's really exciting to me. The last thing they talked about is the invincible bosses being added in a future update. So it's coming a few months after launch. We'll talk about that in the roadmap here, but they're adding a invincible boss shortly after the game launches, and these bosses will be offering the most top tier loot that you can get in the game, which is very, very cool in my opinion. I'm very excited for that. And then at the very end of it, Randy teased and talked about pearlescence coming. The pearlescence will be added in a future update, a free update, but will be a tier above legendary, and they will have about a 1% chance to drop. I never got to play around with pearlescence in Borderlands 2, but I know that they are the most coveted of the coveted weapons. So I can't wait to check that out and can't wait to farm for some or just see if I can track some down. I think that'll be really neat. After talking about the end game content, they gave us the roadmap of the game for the end of the year, up into the end of the year, and then they gave the first part of 2026 in the Q1 of 2026 of what they're going to be releasing. The end of the game, you unlock all those things that we talked about, and then there's going to be a free content update coming sometime shortly thereafter the game launches, September 12th, but you'll get a seasonal mini event called Horrors of Kairos, which allows you to unlock new legendary weapons, new cosmetics, and a new weather variant, which is exciting to me. I hope that the weather variant and this whole event changes the entire map. Like, I don't know if it'll be a certain portion of the map, but if it's anything like any kind of event in any other game, I hope that it's just kind of maybe a dark theme, maybe just kind of spooky vibes. I'm sure it's going to be spooky vibes. I'm sure it's going to be geared towards Halloween and the spooky season, but it's going to be called the Horrors of Kairos. And then that leads us right into the Bounty Pack 1, which the Bounty Pack 1 is your first piece of paid content. Your bounty packs are your paid content that unlocks a new mission and boss, new missions and boss, sorry. Then you get new legendary gear. You get a vault card with 24 cosmetics and 4 pieces of re-rollable gear. You get 1 Vault Hunter style and 1 Echo, 4 drone skin, and 1 vehicle, which... cool, you know, that's exciting. I'm not super stoked about the Vault Hunter style or the Echo drone skin or the vehicle, but it is content. I'm more looking forward to the new missions and the boss, the new legendary gear, and the vault card. I think adding the vault cards to the bounty packs is going to add a lot more to the unlocks and the ability to get things. I'm interested to see that. I think that's very cool that the bounty pack is your first piece of paid content. And you would think, oh, okay, that's your DLC. No, that isn't even your DLC. That's just, you know, first free content update, then a bounty pack, and then after that you get more free content with an invincible boss. You get a first invincible boss before the end of the year. It's a high level boss, a variant, and arena. I'm curious what the arena means because they didn't mention anything about takedowns, so I'm wondering what the arena is, or if it's just going to be like where you fight the boss. I'm interested to see how that works. Hopefully it's more of a dungeon style thing where you have to fight through mobs and then you get to the boss, but we'll see there. You get new legendary weapons and an additional Vault Hunter mode, an additional Ultimate Vault Hunter mode level. So they're adding to the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode as time goes on, and you're going to get harder and harder enemies, which is very cool for the first of the year. I think that's quite a bit of content going into the post-game ecosystem, and you get a lot of stuff to do. Then you jump right into Bounty Pack 2 in Q1 of 2026. Q1 meaning January, February, March maybe. That's going to give you new missions and a boss, new legendary gear, another vault card with 24 cosmetics and a rerollable gear. You also get a 1 player skin, 1 Echo 4 drone skin, and 1 vehicle. And then they're hoping to launch sometime within that first or second bounty content, pearlescent rarity, which that's very cool that it's coming pretty soon there after launch. And then right after that, the first story pack release is called Mad Ellie and the Vault of the Damned. We got a little bit of a teaser of this. If you guys haven't seen the first video I watched where they revealed all of this, they actually had the voice actor for Ellie come out on stage and, you know, talk and tease this, and that's really cool. Then we're getting, with this whole story pack, we're getting a new Vault Hunter within what? September, October, November, December, January. I'm betting it releases in March. So in the first 6 months of the game, we're going to get a brand new Vault Hunter, new main story missions, new map zone, new side missions, new legendary gear, new cosmetics, 4 Vault Hunter heads and styles, 4 weapon skins, 2 drone skins, 3 Echo 4 drone skins and attachments, and 1 Echo 4 frame. Again, the skins are cool. It's a nice addition, but I'm really excited about this Vault Hunter. I think this will be really cool. A lot of people have related this back to some sort of gunslinger type character. If you look at the concept art for if you look at some of the concept art for the original character for Flak, this is kind of the vibe you get, and I'll have to put a picture on screen, but some sort of gunslinger character. And I wasn't the one that found this. There was somebody on Reddit that found it. If I track down who talked about this, I'll put their handle down below. But this is cool. I hope it's a gunslinger character. I love gunslinger type characters in the Borderlands universe, especially Borderlands 2. Give me some of that good old Salvador action. Yes, I love that. Interesting to see. We'll see how the story progresses and all of the stuff that they add. Hopefully it's enough content. I really hope that this whole new main story mission with the Mad Ellie and the Vault of the Damned is a whole entire like Borderlands style DLC. I think that'll be really fun if they live up to that. Beyond this, you get more bounty packs 3 and 4. You get a story pack 2 and invincible bosses and more. Really excited to see how many bounty packs come out per year. I'm sure that they'll probably put out maybe three a year. And then you have your 2 story packs, so like 5 pieces of content, and then, you know, more events. I think that the future is bright here. I think that they've actually got some really cool things planned. I saw some people discussing the fact that there weren't any takedowns in the initial launch plans, but for that, I'm gonna say, like, let's see how the game comes out. Let's see what these Ultimate Vault Hunter levels look like. Let's see what these mini events are like. Let's see what the vault bosses, the ultimate invincible bosses are, and then their arenas. Let's see what those look like. That doesn't say that they won't ever release takedowns. Maybe they've got a takedown plan for the middle of, you know, Q1 or Q2, or who knows. You know, Borderlands 3 was very much shaped by the community, and I think that we as the community definitely need to speak up when we don't like things, but the game isn't out yet. Let's just see what the game looks like when it comes out. Let's see what content we have. Hopefully it lives up to expectations. I think that some people are upset about, you know, not being able to play the campaign again. I think that's something that they'll have to definitely look into, because, you know, your speedrunners and all of those people want to be able to rerun the campaign again. They don't want to just beat it once and then be out of luck. There's a big portion of the Borderlands community that are speedrunners, so I think that would be something I would like to see them add back in. I want to see just see how long things take. I'm interested to play through all the characters. I think I'm going to be busy for a while, and we'll see. Hopefully they do add takedowns at some point, but I definitely am looking forward to the content. And this is, again, a single-player game, and I think they've got quite a bit of content planned for the rest of the year. Hopefully it lives up to expectation, and you know, maybe the game is long enough that we're going to be busy for a while, and then all these characters and then builds and farming gear. I think there's going to be a lot to do. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what the game comes out in about 2 weeks and how it's going to be, but I am going to be playing the heck out of it. Hopefully you guys are too. If you guys enjoyed this video and this breakdown, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, as that helps me out. And if you guys are new here, consider subscribing, as we put out Borderlands 4 content all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.